tonight. We're going to do the whole arc of, of women filmmakers. Dorothy Arzner.
40 years, I guess, yeah.
Going into Ida Lupino, going into Elaine May, going into Joan Darling. These aren't women's films.
No, and they're not little esoteric things. They're very much of their time. Particularly when we end in the middle 70s, and I think back, and the middle 70s were a time of such excitement for women. Women's liberation was in the conversation.
Well, I think Dorothy Arzner, Ida Lupino, Elaine May, we really need to reevaluate. These are just great films. One of the things that is so great about having a series called Trailblazers is you get to discover films. For me, I'd never seen this film, Outrage, and I was aware of Ida Lupino's work as a director, but this was a film I hadn't seen, and it was really a revelation for me. I just think that it's a movie that demands to be seen and reevaluated and really put
in the pantheon.
It has to be.
Really, and it's pretty timeless.
It's a timeless film, and it says so much, I think, about the culture that surrounds act of violence against women. And if it had just been a film that was about that was about the culture of rape and the aftermath of rape, that would have made it a good movie. But she transforms the person, and her experience changes her, and in a way that we'll see in the movie. I don't want to give too much away, but that for me is what, relevated it to kind of a masterpiece for me.
In some ways, this movie screams early 1950s.
Yes.
And in other ways, it could have been made last week.
I also think there was well, first of all, she was in, let's talk a little bit about Ida Lupino.
She's an amazing woman. And,
yeah.
If I had a nickel for every time somebody said to me, oh, wasn't Ida Lupino the first woman director? Which, obviously, one of the joys of this, this month is showing that, no, she wasn't. But she was one hell of a director, and one who fought tooth and nail for everything she accomplished. I mean, she's born in England of parents who are actors. By the age of 13, she's studying acting at the British Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts. But very shortly thereafter, she's cast in her first film. And she acted in England for almost a decade, usually playing much older than she. I've seen photos of her in blonde wigs at age like 17, playing somebody 30. But when she came to Hollywood in the early 30s and started acting, she was frustrated almost immediately by the roles she was given. Hardened, one-dimensional.
Right, femme fatale.
Yeah. She called herself the poor woman's Betty Davis, and we all know how frustrated Betty Davis was by the role she was being given.
Yes. So, well, it's funny, and then when she became a director, she said I was the poor man's Don Siegel, so it's never changed for her. But again, she sort of, I would say, fell into directing a little bit. She was working on a film, and
she started writing.
Yeah.
Trying to create her own stories to tell. And she became so passionate about, damn it, she was going to get these stories made.
Yeah.
She creates her own company, Filmmakers. And in this film, she produces, she's a co-writer, and directs. And it's a very low budget. And yet, still, there's a lot of extras, attention to detail. The location scenes are fabulous.
They're almost like an Italian neo-realist film.
Exactly.
Some of the shots of Southern California are incredible, crystal clear. The choice of clothes, the home, the American family life that will become shattered by this act of violence. And as I said, the culture of shame that I can't imagine that they were talking about in 1950, and how she had the courage to make this film.
No, exactly. And the importance of making this film then.
Yes, but this is a very special film. I'm glad that we're showing it. From 1950, the second movie that gave Ida Lupino credit as director. Here is Outrage.